it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a wrap-up of the last 9 books that I read in the last couple months, 2 months. So if you don't know, if you didn't see my 2018 goals video, I kind of split my TBR up into 2. So I was going to do 15 books for the first half of 2018 and 15 books on the second half of 2018. And I put like my Goodreads goal at 30, but I definitely intended to read more than that. I just kind of wanted to give myself space to do it. So some of these books are on my TBR, some weren't. And whenever it gets, you know, time for my second half of the TBR for me to film that, when I film that, I'll kind of let you guys know how I did with doing the 15 books. So some of these were on there, some of these weren't. And honestly, I don't remember which ones were on there. But I'm just going to do like a little wrap up of these books and kind of tell you about them, tell you what I liked about them. There you go. So the first 2 books I read this year was the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo, and I actually have a video, one for each. I did a review video for these, so I'm not going to really talk that much about them here. I did give them, this one I gave a 4 out of 5, and this one I gave a 5 out of 5. They were amazing, and if you have not read these, like, go do so, because they are literally, like, amazing books. And I know, like, I'm late to a lot of these books just because I haven't been reading the last couple years because I've been busy. So there's going to be a lot of books that are older that are going to be on this list, and my TBRs and everything like that that I'm reading that I'm just kind of late to, but that's just how it is. But I'm still going to do reviews of different ones. So, but I did do reviews of these. I will put them up eventually. I just have to edit them, but they were amazing. Next, I read The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. I also did a video for this that I'll put up, and this I think I initially gave it a 5, but I went back and changed it to 4, because it wasn't like the best thing I ever read, and actually I just listened to it on audiobook, which was amazing. Carrie Fisher narrated it, and it's just about her filming Star Wars and her affair with Harrison Ford and like all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to talk a lot about that just because I did a video for this and it will be up eventually. Next, I picked up Long May She Reign by Rhiannon Thomas. So this one I gave a 3 out of 5. The premise of this is there's this girl, Freya. She's like 23rd in line to the throne, and there's this banquet one night that she leaves early, and in the process everyone in front of her dies. So the king and all the other lords and ladies in front of her die, making her the queen. And so it's about her like kind of learning how to become queen and dealing with this like kind of other, like figuring out who killed all these people. She's also dealing with a faction that believes she killed everyone and kind of, you know, wants her dead. So that's like the main premise of it. I had some issues with it though. So in the very first part of this book, she pretty much has a panic attack from being at this banquet and being around so many people. And it's like that just went away. Like as soon as she became queen, it never came up again, which I felt was like really odd. Like, I mean, if you have panic attacks, like, before you're queen, you're gonna have them after you're queen. I mean, come on. That's just, I mean, when you're so anxious and worried about, like, that happens. Panic attacks happen. And she just, like, didn't have any more for some reason. She's also very judgmental about, like, everybody. Like, so she is not the kind of lady that she should be. She's a scientist. She likes science and learning things and doing experiments and like all this kind of stuff. So, but she really looks down on all these lords and ladies of the court because they're, you know, perfect and they do their courtly thing, you know, whatever. So she was like really judgmental about everybody, and I found that kind of annoying. And it just like, it didn't really like have like a climax to it. Like there was, but it just was like a letdown, I think. And I don't know. It was just like, I don't think it was executed very well. The premise was really good, you know, that, you know, she's 23rd in line, she has to become queen, but she's also like pretty much an outsider because she's a scientist. Like, the whole premise was really good. I just don't think it was executed very well. And at the very end, spoilers, I guess, okay, not, well, kind of spoilers. So at the very end, she finds out who actually killed all these people. She lets them go. She doesn't do anything about it. The person's reason wasn't totally evil. They wanted to like kind of clean up the court and make it better, but they still killed like 23 people, 22 people, or however many people. And Freya, the main character, she lets them go. Like, oh my god, they killed people. That like really pissed me off at the end. Like, they were kind of friends and she just let her go, even though she killed people. So that's really like one of my biggest issues with it, is like, how could you do that? But otherwise, it really wasn't a bad book. I mean, I enjoyed reading it. It was also a very quick read. And I liked some of the other aspects. I liked the characters in it, the other characters, and there's a little bit of love in it, which was okay. But yeah, so it just kind of fell flat for me, I guess. It just, my expectations were way more than they should have been for this, I guess. But the next book I picked up was The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This book is about a girl, Natasha, who is being deported that day, and she meets Daniel, who is like on his way to do an interview to get into Yale or Harvard, I can't remember. That he doesn't really want to. His family wants him to be a doctor, but he just wants to be a poet. So, and their stories kind of converge and they fall in love in a day. That's pretty much the basic plot point of it. So I gave this 3 stars. I didn't love it like everybody else loved it. The writing was great. I love the writing. I like the characters. I like that it was really diverse. Natasha is Jamaican. Daniel is Korean American. So there's a lot of different like serious topics in this book about racism and diversity and, you know, deportation and suicide and depression and, you know, living up to your family's expectations and, you know, what happens after you don't, you know, live up to their expectations and like all this kind of stuff. Which I really loved about it. And I also really love that they each have their own chapters, Daniel and Natasha, and then also different items and different people have their own chapters. So, like, Daniel's brother has a chapter. Natasha's dad has a couple chapters. Just kind of different people that they run into during this day have their own chapters that kind of gives insight to that character and like what they're doing and feeling and everything, which I really liked. And then also like inanimate objects had chapters. So like I think Fate had a chapter. There's a couple chapters about hair, like black hair and Korean hair, because Daniel's family owns a black hair care shop. And so there's chapters like that, and I'm trying to find some of them. Time had a chapter. Distance had a chapter. Eyes had a chapter. So I really liked that. That was really different, and I thought that was just really cool. It just kind of gave history to like all these different characters and objects and ideas, and I thought that was amazing. I love that. The biggest problem I have with this book is they fell in love in a day. Okay? I know teenagers. I was one once, and I was in love with my boyfriend at the time. Because when you're a teenager, you just feel all these things, and sometimes you don't know what you're feeling, and it just, everything hurts so bad, and I get that. But even I, as a teenager, did not fall in love with someone in a day. Okay, that's just not how the world works. Especially now, you know, I'm gonna get married to the love of my life and my best friend. Like, I know when I was a teenager, that was not true love. You know, so I just had huge problems with them falling in love with one day. If it wasn't about love, if they didn't keep putting the love in there, and it was just they really were attracted to each other and they really started to like each other, I wouldn't have such a problem. But it was specifically insta love. I mean, they fell in love in a day. And that just doesn't happen. I don't care. It doesn't happen in the real world. So that's why I had like problems with this book. Otherwise, it was really good. And if it would have been a little different, I think I would have like enjoyed it a lot more. But yeah, so they fell in love too quickly, and it's just kind of it. I don't like books like that. That's why I don't read contemporary a lot, because I feel like a lot of contemporary books are like that, where they fall in love instantly, and I'm just not into that. I did find it really cool that the author, Nicola Yoon, she was kind of writing about her and her husband, because her husband is Korean and she's Jamaican, and I thought that was kind of cool. I just wanted to put that out there. But otherwise, it was pretty good. So, I mean, I recommend reading it, because I just really love the style of the chapters and stuff. I just thought that was really cool. Next, I read Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda by Becky Albertalli, and I loved this book. Oh my god, 5 stars. I love this book. I read it in like a couple hours, because I just like could not put it down. So it's about Simon. He's a teenager, and he has a email pen pal, Blue, and they're both closeted gay kids from their school. And they don't know who each other are, and so it's about them kind of like falling in love in these emails over a very long period of time, and dealing with like being in the closet and then eventually telling people and stuff like that. But Simon was in the library and he left his email open and someone saw. So he's being blackmailed to help this other kid get a girlfriend that, you know, doesn't like him actually, which is another thing. But so he's being blackmailed and he has to help him get this girl to like him, and then eventually it gets out to school that Simon's gay. And he has to deal with that, and there's bullying and like all that kind of stuff, which terrible. And so and he's also like trying to figure out who Blue is, because he doesn't know, but he's like falling for him, so of course he wants to know. So, and then you know, it's about them being closeted and then eventually coming out to their friends and family, and how that affects them and affects their friends and family. And it was such a good book. It was so good, and the end was so cute when they finally like found out who each other were. I love this book so much. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to see the movie. Like, I'm so excited. But yeah, so I absolutely love this book. 5 stars. The only problem I had with it, and it's not even a problem about the book, I just got so pissed. I got so pissed when the kid that was blackmailing him, like, outed him to the entire school. Like, I just had to put the book down, and I'm just like, ugh, like, I was so mad, because, you know, when you're gay, LGBT, like, that's your story, and you should be allowed to tell that however you want, and not have someone else do it for you. And I just was so mad that that happened to Simon, because Simon is so sweet and cute and lovely, and, you know, he wasn't ready for it yet, and this kid like just totally like did it for him, and it was really sad that that happened. But I absolutely love this book, so go read this. And I know I'm like super late to this as well. I know this has been out for a while, and I'm super late to reading this and reviewing this, but that's what happened. So the next books I read was the Throne of Glass series. I read the first 3 books. Well, I read the first 2 and then half of the third. I have tons of issues with this series. I have tons of issues with this series. I think I gave all of them, like, the first 2 weren't bad. The third one was terrible. I mean, the writing isn't bad in them, I just don't like the characters. I cannot stand Celaena. I can't stand her. She just reminds me of a Mary Sue. She's beautiful, but so different, and she's magic, and she can fight, and she gets all the guys. Like, she's a Mary Sue character. Why can't anybody else see this? I don't know why. And she's just, like, so sassy. Like, there's sometimes I liked her, but most of the time, like, she just annoyed the crap out of me, because she just thinks she's better than everybody else, I feel like. And, I just don't like her. I don't like her. And then the first book, like, you know, I thought she was supposed to be this super, like, badass, like, assassin. And you didn't really see much of that. Now, in the second book you did, which I liked. The second book was definitely better than the first and the third. So I liked that. I liked the plot of that one a lot better. I liked the characters in that one a lot better. With, like, Dorian and Chaol. Because I like Chaol from the first. Dorian, I liked both of them, Dorian and Chaol. Now, I didn't want Dorian with Celaena. I wanted Chaol with Celaena because I like their relationship better. But why does she have to have a relationship every book? Why can't she have friends and not a relationship all the time? I don't know. I just have lots of feelings about this series. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I especially didn't like that. So the third one I didn't even finish because I didn't care anymore. I didn't like what was going on with Aelin, Celaena, whatever her name is, and Rowan, who was an asshole. I didn't like their whole whatever they were doing. They introduced Manon, which I guess was a witch, as a new character, so she had her own chapters, but I did not care about her. I didn't like her at all. I, like, hated her. So, like, I was so bored with her chapters. And then Chaol and Dorian, like, there wasn't, like, a lot going on with them either. So I don't know. I just stopped reading it. And really, I wasn't reading them. I listened to audiobooks for all of them, but still, I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, I was so freaking bored. So bored. And I heard what happens in the next ones, and they don't sound any better. It sounds like Celaena gets even worse when she fully becomes Aelin. And she's terrible to Chaol again. And Chaol's my baby. I really read the third one just for him, because I like him a lot, but I just couldn't do it anymore. So, yeah. I don't know. Well, thanks for watching my wrap-up of the last 9 books I read. 8 or 9. Whatever. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe, and come check me back later. Bye.